In today's video, we are going to talk about when you should dose up. And I need to start this video off with a huge medical disclaimer. This is not medical advice. This is not me telling you what to do. This is just giving you the advice that I have of everything that I've learned since being on a GLP-1 medication and working with other men and women who are on a GLP-1 and just learning from everyone around me. This is just my advice. You do not have to take anything that I say seriously, but I have been on a GLP-1 for over 2.5 years. I am Nikki and I started a GLP-1 back in March of 2023. I have been on both Semaglutide and Tirzepatide. I have dosed up, I have dosed down, I have skipped doses. I have pretty much done everything that you could do on a GLP-1 medication. So here on this channel, I just share it all. I share my journey and I share everything that I have learned through it all. I also have a space online called the GLP1 Girl Code. It's a membership filled with women on this journey that I get to learn from, that I get to support, that I get to help, advise. I have learned so much from that group of women. And that's just really where I get my knowledge from, just a bunch of research and just kind of living life. I am not in any way giving you medical advice. Okay, now that we got that out of the way, let's talk about it. Let's talk about how do you know, like what are the things that have to happen in order for me, let's say, to decide that it is time to dose up. First of all, what you need to know is that you don't have to dose up. There are many women and men on a GLP-1 that have never gone above the baby dose. So if you don't know, we've got semaglutide and that starts at 0.25, so 25 hundredths, and then it goes to 50 hundredths. Then it can either go to 75 hundredths or it could go up to 1 milligram. And then it goes to, I think, 1.4 and 2.4. I'm not really sure exactly the ones above 1 milligram because I've just never done that. I only got as high as 1 milligram on semaglutide, and then I switched over to Tirzepatide. Tirzepatide starts at 2.5 milligrams, then it goes to 5 milligrams, then it goes to 7.5 milligrams, 10 milligrams, 12.5, and 15 milligrams. So the dosing is very similar between semaglutide and Tirzepatide. Tirzepatide is just times 100, so you just move the decimal over one time. So instead of 0.25, you got 2.5. Instead of 0.5, you have 5. Get it? Okay. All right, so a little bit of a math lesson there. It's just times 100 or moving the decimal over one time. And okay, so you have the different doses. According to most doctors or most prescriptions, you're supposed to dose up every 4 weeks. And the purpose of that is because the therapeutic doses are not typically until you hit 1 milligram and 10 milligram. Those are the doses that from all of the studies are the ones that were proven to be effective the most, I suppose, right? I mean, people were probably on all kinds of different doses, but that's what those are. But 10 milligrams and 1 milligram for semaglutide are what's considered the therapeutic doses. So a doctor starts you off on what I call a baby dose, 2.5 and 0.25. Those are the lowest doses that they usually prescribe. And that dose is pretty much just to get you comfortable with the medication, understanding how your body's going to react to the medication, and just keep you from having massive side effects as you get to that therapeutic dose. The idea is that you stay on that dose for 4 weeks, and then you go up to the next dose for 4 weeks, and you continue dosing up every single 4 weeks. That's what we used to do when we first started these medications. That's what was on my prescription. That's what some doctors will still advise you to do. But most doctors will now tell you that you can stay on a certain dose for as long as it's working. And so how do we know? Like, how do we know it's still working? How do we know it's not hormonal related? How do we know, like, how long do we stay in a stall before we decide to go ahead and move up in dose? That is the question of the hour. Okay. This is how I decide. And I might not be the best one to give you advice here because I tend to stay on a low dose for as long as I possibly can. If I am losing anything, I stay on that dose. If I am stalled for a week or two, I stay on that dose. For me, I really have to be stalled for multiple weeks, probably like 4 weeks. Like I'd have to be stalled for an entire month before I decided to move up in dose. Not only would I have to be stalled, but I would also have to have food noise. See, for me, the biggest advantage of being on a GLP-1 medication is being able to get through my day without thinking about food all day, without snacking all day, without reaching for candy or the sugar or anything like that. I am a teacher and I've always had like a box of candy in my room and I would just eat it all. It was not even for me, it was for my students, but I would be the one reaching for it and I would be eating it. And since starting a GLP-1 medication, I don't even buy candy anymore. Even if I had it in my room, I wouldn't reach for it. I have no desire for it because the food noise is gone because of the GLP-1 medications. Now, if those cravings started coming back for multiple weeks, because I definitely think that when I'm on my period or around my period week, some of those cravings tend to creep in a little bit. So I track my cycle so that I know if it's cycle related or if it's the medication wearing off. You have to be really careful about the two. If you know when your period is, if you know when your cycle is, then you're able to say, oh, this is cycle related. It has nothing to do with the medication. Next week, it will be back to normal. I do not need to dose up. But if you're not tracking your cycle, then it's just going to make it a little bit more difficult for you to figure out, which means you should just wait, more than 1 week before you dose up. Just because you stop losing weight does not mean that you should just dose up right then and there. Like, oh, I didn't lose weight this week. I lost weight last week. I didn't lose weight this week. I'm going up in dose. No, like you need to have more than 1 week of no weight loss before you should dose up. Because ultimately, and this is, I guess, my opinion, but ultimately you have a cap, right? If you're on Tirzepatide, the highest you can go is 15 milligrams. If you're on Semaglutide, the highest you can go is that 2.4. What are you going to do when you get there and you stop losing weight? You can't go up anymore. You've met that cap. And that kind of scares me. So I make sure to try to stay away from that cap for as long as I possibly can, even if it takes me longer. And here's the thing. I have been on this journey for 2.5 years. Many of the people that started with me have surpassed me because they did dose up. And typically, if you do dose up, then yes, maybe you lose weight faster if you're not having side effects and everything is falling into line for you. But for me, I would prefer to dose up really, really slowly and make sure that I stay away from that cap because this is probably a lifetime medication for me. And I don't want to be taking a 15 milligram dose of Tirzepatide for the rest of my life. I don't mind 2.5. If I could take 4 or 5 milligrams for the rest of my life, not a big deal. But I don't want to be on a 15 milligram dose and then it completely stop working for me and there's nowhere else for me to go. If I stay on a 5 milligram dose for a really long time, and even if I have like slow weeks or stalls and then it starts working again and the food noise is still gone, then I can start tweaking other things and making other changes in order to make sure that that weight starts moving down again and I don't have to dose up. So for me, it all comes down to food noise. If the food noise is quieted, if I can do my job, do my work, focus, and not think about food all day, every day, then I don't dose up. It really comes down to that. It does not come down to what the scale is saying. It does not come down to if I am actually losing weight. That's how I make my decision. And I know that's not the same for everyone. I think other people rely a lot on the scale And if the scale isn't moving, even though like you have all these other amazing benefits that are happening, then the first thing we do is dose up. Because ultimately, like for many of us, and I feel like even for myself for a really long time, the scale was priority. Did I just say that weird? Priority? The scale was priority, and it came before everything else. And for me now at the place that I'm at, it's just not the case anymore. It's just really not. It's really not. For me, it's all about the food noise. Okay. Hopefully this video just gives you a little bit of food for thought, a little bit of guidance or viewpoints, something to think about before you decide to just start dosing up and up and up, and then you hit that ceiling and you have nowhere to go, and then you really, really get stuck, which is kind of scary to think about. But if you are on this journey, get inside the GLP-1 Girl Code. It is a beautiful space with a ton of engagement. I want you in there. We want you in there. The more women we have inside, the better, because no one wants to do this alone. Like, no one wants to be alone in this journey. We all need support, and we all need other women to just turn to when we need something. Okay? If you have any thoughts, questions, anything, let me know down in the comments. And don't forget to give this video a like. And if you're not already subscribed, hit that subscribe button before you leave. And go ahead and watch this video next. I will see you in my next video. Remember, you are doing much better than you think. Keep going.